Bang your alert! We've been creating some amazing stuff using Streamer.bot in OBS Studio. And today I have 3 more pretty cool interactive stuff that you can add to your Twitch streams. So if you're following along, by the end of this video, you're gonna have a cool quoting system for your chat that actually archives every new quote in a Discord channel. Then you'll have an interactive meme creator using Streamer.bot's voice control. Every time you say a specific word, voluntarily or accidentally, your camera will freeze and then the word will appear at the bottom. You already know which word it is. Come. And then finally, right into OBS Studio, using Streamer.bot, we're gonna create an Animal Crossing style speech bubble that your chat can use to send you messages. But don't worry, if you haven't started using Streamer.bot yet, I actually have a video demonstrating how easy it is to set up. After watching that video, it won't be intimidating at all, and you'll find the steps in this video to be very, very simple. Anyways, you're gonna get some cool ideas, a bunch of tips and tricks right after a message from our sponsor. And today's sponsor is Own Pro. You may know about Own because of the ads mostly, and you know that they have the biggest overlay library on the internet. But Own Pro is their service that aims to give you everything that you need as a streamer, including access to those overlays. So basically how it works is that it is an OBS plugin that you control from the website. All you have to do is log in with your Twitch account, install the plugin, and configure it here. If I want to configure alerts, for example, I can click configure here, then I can check out their alerts library. You might know that they have exclusive license overlays from the Call of Duty franchise, but we're interested in the free stuff. Let's click on this, for example, and this is an example of the alert that we can get. And once you have the plugin installed, you just have to click install, and boom, your alerts will look like this. And installing overlays is just as easy. Just click overlays, pick the one you want, 'tis the season, and just click install. And they'll be ready to use in your OBS Studio. Own Pro offers way more stuff, but I'll let you check it out by going to own.gg/gallevelpro. That is own3d.gg/gallevelpro. First of all, I highly encourage you to check out the Streamer.bot documentation. This is where I basically get most of my inspiration, and this is where I learn about stuff that I didn't know before. So you go to Streamer.bot and you just click on Docs. It's gonna bring you right here and you just click Get Started. From there, you'll have information on everything you need to know about Streamer.bot. But most importantly, you're gonna have some examples of how you can use every specific option. For example, if you click on variables, you're gonna learn about the variables. This is where you learn that if you type percentage, username percentage, it's actually gonna fetch the name of the person who triggered the action. And that's something that we use all the time in Streamer.bot. Anyways, hi, we're gonna talk about the quoting system. It is not something new. Bots like Nightbot can have like a quoting system. Basically, you're streaming, you say something funny, then a viewer that you authorize, usually you leave it to your mods and your VIPs, can type something like quote, add, and then they type the phrase you said. And it's basically gonna add it to a database of a bunch of quotes that people can basically bring up. Now with Streamer.bot, it's a little bit different. Here's how you activate your quotes. And yes, I turned off everything except the actual settings that you need, just to not intimidate you, right? You wanna go to settings, to the settings tab, and then you want to find quotes. Then you just click enabled, and as you can see, I have 2 quotes. And the reason why it told me that other quote is because I was testing something earlier. So when it comes to data, we have the time, we have the user who basically recorded the quote, we have the platform you were on, the category that you were on, and then the quote. Now what I did is in actions, I created an action that will bring up the quote and that would do something else. So you want to carefully read the documentation about quotes because it's basically going to give you examples and also the variables that have to do with quotes. Things like quote ID will tell you which number of a quote, there's quote user, there's the quote itself. So you can then use that to basically trigger some actions that have to do with the quote, keeping in mind that yes, you can basically fetch the actual quote. So if you want to show it on screen, for example, you can just set it so that it modifies the text in OBS or something like that. But in our case, we just want to post a random quote when someone types quote. So by default, when you enable quotes, Streamer.bot already has quote add to add the quotes, quote delete, and then you put the number of the quote and then quote. This didn't work for me like automatically. This is why I created my own command. So I went into commands, boop, and I created one right there. That being said, I want to turn off include so that when I want to use commands like quote add, it doesn't trigger it. To get the quotes, you can go right click, core, quotes, get quote. You're gonna have this option. And for me, I just want a random quote when someone types quote. You can also pick a specific quote where you can put the ID of the quote, right? And then I tell it to post a Twitch message in the chat. So I right click, Twitch, chat, send message to a channel, and I just put quote percentage. So whatever quote it came up with here, when it gets random quote, it posts it. If you have a separate bot account, you can set that, and you can also set it to broadcaster. I don't have a separate bot account connected to Streamer.bot, so there we go. So that's why if I type quote, it's gonna randomly give me one of the 2 quotes. Now this might seem more complex than other quote systems, but it's Streamer.bot, meaning that you can control everything with those quotes. As I said, you can display it on screen. And in my case, if I want to archive or I don't know, have the quotes actually physically somewhere that anyone can access at any time, I created a Discord webhook. So right click, integration, Discord, basic webhook. And then you go to your Discord, you go to your server settings. Under integration, you want to click view webhooks. And then you can create a new webhook if you want to. Click on it, give it a name, and then copy the webhook URL. I already have one set up, so I'm not going to use that. I have this one. So it's called Captain Hook. The channel it's going to post on is Chit Chat. Copy the webhook URL. And then in here, webhook URL, boom. You can put the username, you can put the webhook name. And then when it comes to content, what do I put? That variable that we learned about, which is just quote. But that would only post the quote with no context whatsoever. That's not what we want. And this is where the documentation is so important, because here we have an option here where it says quote output message. So we have a hashtag, but we basically have number, quote ID, the quote, and then between brackets, it would say who submitted it, which game I was playing, and at what time. So you copy this and then you just put that instead, right? Avatar URL, technically there's a variable to basically fetch, I guess, the user's avatar. You could put like the Twitch profile picture of the person who submitted the quote if you want to, but we're not going to do that. We're going to keep it simple. And that's exactly what I did here. As you can see, boom, I put the whole thing there. And now every time someone uses the quote thing, you'll see that Captain Hook is telling you the number of the quote, who submitted it, the category, and the date. So you would most likely want that when someone is recording a quote, is submitting a quote with the quote add, not just exclamation mark quote, to pull up a random quote. But that's how you have a quote system in Streamer.bot, and that's all the cool stuff you can do with it. I'm pretty sure there's something called Speaker.bot where you could probably add a TTS function to that. Let me know if you would like to see a tutorial on that. All right, something else that I played around with was the voice commands. I always thought, oh, maybe voice commands or a voice control might be a little too tacky, right? So let me turn that on, voice control. And the way it works is that you have your commands here, and then in settings, you need to click start listening. I have it on auto start listening. So I believe that this is my first time trying it, okay? I believe it will start when Streamer.bot starts, but if I click on start listening, it basically will start listening for commands. So let's add some commands. Add, and I'm going to call this one come. I think that's a very important one. And the name of the command is the word that you need to say. So I'm going to type come. And then in location, exact is going to be, oh, I need to just say that. Like that's the whole sentence. The sentence needs to start with it or anywhere in the sentence, which is what we're going to pick. We're also going to click on stop after. The stop after toggle will stop processing any further dictation checks immediately after a phrase is detected, rather than waiting for the next pause. So we do want that. As soon as it hears the word come, it should do whatever action we're going to assign to it. Click it, boom. So now what I can do is basically create a new action. I'm going to go to actions. I'm going to click add. I'm going to call it come. And we're going to say that this voice command is going to be the trigger. So I can right click, go to core, voice control, and it's dictation. So when you say the word, this, trigger whatever we're going to put underneath here. And in this case, we can do something pretty fun, in my opinion. Let me go to my main camera. I'm just going to check it real quick for the filters that I have. Yes. So I have what is called the freeze plugin, where I can just click and then it will freeze, right? So without necessarily taking a screenshot, I can freeze the camera. So let's start by doing that. Tell it, hey, as soon as it hears the word, we want it to freeze. So in this case, it would be an OBS source that I want to set the filter state. Set source filter state. So main cam ZV1 is the name of my camera. The filter is going to be the freeze filter. There we go. And we want this state to be visible in that case. Then I'm going to go ahead and add some text. And we're going to type the word come. I'm going to change the font real quick. Click OK. We're going to put this right there. And then on the scene, I'm actually going to be using the move transition plugin. It's funny that I'm still frozen. Oh, it probably heard me say come. That's why. Actually, let's do this step by step. So we wanted to turn on the source visibility of the text. So let's go OBS source, set source visibility state. So turn that on. The source is going to be the text and we want it to be visible. I'm going to right click on the scene and click filters. And we're going to add the move transition plugin. We're going to add some filters from there. We're going to click plus. And we're going to click move source. I'm going to call this one cam full, and that's going to be our current camera thing. I'm just going to scroll down and click get transform just to make sure. You don't have to because it's just normal, but whatever. I'm going to duplicate that. And this one is going to be cam cum the triple C. Click OK. When it comes to the source, we have the right source selected. Make sure we have the right filter selected. And now I can basically move this around and also crop it. I can do this. Okay. Go back to the filters, and with the right one selected, you want to click Get Transform. Nice. And you can see some numbers have changed here. So we can click on this and click on that. And we can definitely like play around with the speed, but I'm going to keep it like that for the sake of the tutorial, right? So we need to tell Streamer.bot about this that we just added. And in this case, right click, OBS, scenes, because the filter is on the scene. Set scene filter state. The scene is main cam, and we want cam coop crop. Cam coop crop. We want that to happen. So right now, freezes the camera, shows us the text, crops the camera. If you want to add some sound, this is where you can make it play a sound directly, I think from core. Sounds, play a sound, or you can add it as a source in OBS and just make the source visibility on. But we're not going to do that for this example. We're just going to delay. So I'm going to right click, click core, delay, and I'm going to set it pretty short actually. It's in milliseconds. So we're going to put 2000 for 2 seconds. And then we're just going to reverse so that everything goes back to normal after 2 seconds. We don't have to add more. We can just duplicate the ones and just switch it up. So I'm going to right click on the camera crop, for example, and I'm going to duplicate sub action, double click. And in this case, we actually want it to be the camera full. So it goes back to the full. So this is not like visibility hidden because it's a filter. Anyways, now the text, the visibility here. Now the text, the visibility, we want it to be hidden. So I'm going to right click, duplicate sub action, and it's putting it in order too, which is nice. So visibility, hidden. And finally, we want to turn off the freeze filter. So right click, duplicate sub action, double click. The state is hidden for this filter. I believe that is all we need. So now let's say that I'm on my full screen. I have my camera on a separate screen and stuff. Let me turn this off real quick. This is my actual full screen, and anyone can come and find me out. That's it. That's it. It's I really like the I really like the voice control. It's super fine, and yeah. So all you have to do is come here. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna add some sound to it. I think it's gonna be funny. Okay, so another idea I had was I should probably turn off the come thing. Let me make it stop listening. Okay, so if you don't want those to trigger, just click on stop listening. It's in voice controls settings. So another idea I had was maybe to have like a character pop up, and then people would be able to use their channel points or even bits to actually show messages on screen. You might even do this with like subscriber messages if you just know like the right variables and stuff. But I don't know, the first thing that popped in my head was Animal Crossing, because I know sometimes the characters are at the bottom of the screen saying something. So we're gonna look at an example and then we're gonna try to recreate that. What the heck? Please tell me that's not actually in the game. So originally I thought like the animals' heads would pop up. Maybe that's in another game. Yeah, I guess. But we can totally do this. And the cool thing is that we can get the username of the person to show up as well. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I want to flex a little bit and show you that you can do all of this in OBS Studio without using anything else. But of course, like if you can use any editing software like Photoshop or whatever, just it's two like rounded rectangles, two weird shapes. You just put them together and you're good. You can even download them from Google actually, probably. There you go, boom. And then this one has a transparent background. You could download this. But if I were to make it in OBS Studio, here's how I would do it. I would create a new scene. I'll call it AC Bubble. I would go and find a color source. Call this one back 1. Put OBS to the side like that. Click select color, click pick screen color, and hopefully this works. It does. And then straight on Google, I can color pick to have the actual color. Nice. From there, I can play around with like the shapes, like the height, the dimensions, if you will. Put OBS back full screen. Doesn't matter that much. I'm gonna click OK. And now I'm gonna use another plugin called the Shader Filter plugin. I'm gonna right click on that, or I'm just gonna click on filters right here. And I'm gonna add user defined shader. Click OK, and I'm basically gonna find the rounded rectangle one. Load shader from text, click browse, press R, and find rounded rectangle. Nice corner radius. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna hold shift to stretch this. I don't know if it's gonna hold it though if I do this. Yeah, it doesn't really hold it, but it doesn't matter. We'll do that like that. I'm gonna right click, copy, right click, paste, duplicate, stretch it some more until you get something vaguely similar. Keep in mind, you can also rotate this by pressing Control E and then typing like which rotation you want. Let's go with 10 degrees. Maybe that's too much. Go with 5 degrees, something like that. 3. Nice. Click OK. Move this around. Of course, you want to take your time. I'm making a tutorial. I do not have to take my time. All right, it's a little squishier than that. Okay, cool. Now, finally, let's add the name tag. So we're going to paste the duplicate. We might even rename this one. I'm going to press F2 with the layer selected and call this one name tag. And we can pick the color here. What are the colors? Yeah, let's go with this teal, blue-ish, turquoise, whatever, like that. We're going to lower that a little bit so it's not bam, bada boom, bam, bam. Make this smaller. We can actually play around, double click on it and probably make this 200. Nope. 200 doesn't work. 300. Nice. I'm going to go back to the filters and play around with the rounded part of it. It's too round. There we go. And I'm going to lower this like that. Cool. Now we need to add 2 text boxes, or just 2 text. Plus text GDI, call this one name tag. We're going to put a placeholder from my homie place last name holder. Yes, you pick up the font. You can put Comic Sans if you want. That's pretty cool. Let's check out the color. Yes, it's usually white. I'm going to press Control E to open up the transform things. I'm going to put the bounding types to maximum size only. It's going to mess up my whole setup here. I'm going to try to center it. And I'm basically going to make sure that whatever happens, the text will stay within this border. It's going to resize itself automatically. So bounding box size is the box and you want it to be this size. So play around with the size. You also want positional alignment to be center, I believe. If this thing could go back to the middle, that would be great. I'm going to press Control D for that. Select it, press Control D. There it is. Okay, so I found like an acceptable size right there and I can click close. And now our name is always going to fit inside this thing. And if the name is too big, it's going to resize. Hopefully no one has a name that long on Twitch. Our buddy placeholder is all comfy. Boom. So now what do we do for the rest? We're actually going to duplicate this name tag. Right click, copy, right click, paste duplicate. Then you want to move this around. And of course, if you want it to be visible, we probably need to change the color. It looks like it's some sort of poop green. So let's let's do that. Select color right there. Greenish, poopish, greenish, desaturated like that. Looks fine to me. Now we just want to Control E and then play around with the bounding box, and then we're not going to make it center. We're going to make it top left for the alignment. So alignment, top left, and bounding box. By the way, I just realized that the positional alignment is what I've been modifying when I put top left. What we want is actually alignment in bounding box. It's this, top left. That tells you where the text is going to be. Okay, cool. I think that's enough. I'm just going to make the text a little bigger. It is at 256. We're going to put it at 280. We're going to change the name. AC message. Now, if I go to my full screen, I can add this as a scene. I can click plus, scene, AC bubble, and there it is. And from there, I can crop, I can modify it, I can do whatever I want. We're going to place it like that, right? And I think I'm going to keep this for like probably subs, resubs, but we're going to do channel points because it's easier to demonstrate. So let me check what the animation looks like. Okay, it seems like the bubble just scales up and then the text is kind of like a typewriter, aka linear slide effect, linear wipe effect. We're just going to do a complete linear wipe from left to right. We also realize that the whole bubble is kind of wobbly. We actually have a shader with the shader filter plugin that does that. So I'm going to go ahead and group up the back plates or the background colors, back, and name tag back. I'm going to put it the same. You might want to separate this if you want to take your time to make it look better, but I'm going to right click, group selected items, and call them back colors. I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to add a fade transition. And don't worry, we're going to do the little movement thing too. So that's show transition fade. And then we can see the custom duration is 500 millisecond. So if I do this, it should fade in. For the message, we want to right click, show transition, and we want that to be a swipe. We can preview transition and then direction right. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. So of course, if there's more text, for example, it's the whole thing that's going to do this, but that's close enough. In fact, I'm going to do the same thing for the name tag. I'm going to right click, show transition, we want swipe, direction right, and there we go, 500 milliseconds. Now I'm going to right click on the scene and we're going to make the little scale in filters, and we're going to use the move transition plugin, or just the move plugin. That's what it's called. So move source, click OK. Back colors is what we want. So that's going to be our original position, or final position actually, final POS, duplicate that. And this one is going to be our small position. So it's both going to fade and also scale up. I want to click on back colors, scale that down a little bit, try to still center it. And then with small POS, click get transform. We can see that the scale is lowered here. In order to test it, we can press this. That's the final position. That's the before, that's the after. We can probably scale it down a little bit more. Click get transform again. Boom. Okay, we'll use Streamer.bot to combine making it visible and also scaling up. All right, so this is the more complex one, but we're gonna do this. Step by step, we can make it happen. So what would be the first step? In this case, we actually want to fetch the information from the channel point redeem or channel point redemption. Let me turn this off. We don't need voice control. We just need actions for now. We're gonna add a new action. We're gonna call it AC speech bubble. Put it in a group if you want to. And under sub actions, let's fetch that information. We do that by going to Twitch, user, and get user info for target. Source type, it's the user. And I'm pretty sure it also gets the input no matter what. So we'll test it. So let's go back to the scene and basically simulate how it would be by default. We definitely want the text to change before it appears. So let's do that. So we want the name tag first, maybe. Let's just go to OBS, sources, and then set text GDI. Or set GDI text. In this case, we want the name tag. So the scene is AC bubble, source name tag, and the text, as you can see in the bottom here, it's going to tell you if you want the name of the user, just target user. So percentage target user, all lowercase except for the U of user. That should be it for the name tag. Now let's right click again, OBS, same thing, sources, set text GDI, except now the source is going to be the message. And if I remember correctly, it should be user input, which means whatever the user who triggered the alert had to type, fetch that text. I hope I'm not wrong. I could be wrong. So basically now both of our text is changed. Okay, get the info, change the text. Now make things appear. We saw that the background is going to appear first. So right click, OBS, sources, set source visibility state, back colors, make it visible. And then we want the text to be visible one by one. OBS, sources, sorry, that was bleeding on my second screen. OBS, sources, set source visibility state. We want the name tag to appear first. Let's do that, visible. And let's not even waste time. Let's right click, duplicate this, double click, and the message. Nice. Then you decide how long you want it to stay on or visible, if you will. You go to core, delay. I think this probably requires a good 6 seconds. Let's go 6. Nice. And click OK. From there, you want to do the same thing, but in reverse, basically. Make things invisible. Instead of visible, you want hidden, but you can just right click, duplicate. That is the message text. We want to make that hidden. Then the name tag, same thing, hidden. Then the background colors, double click, hidden. That should be it. And now we decide how to trigger that. But keep in mind that we have an input, right? So the user needs to type something. You could have this be the quote system, for example, but let's make a channel point. I'm gonna right click so I can add platform. Yes, this is where I have Twitch and then I have channel point rewards. I can right click. I don't even have to do this actually. I can just go here and then add a new channel point reward. Twitch, channel reward, reward redemption. And I can create one straight from here. Isn't that cool? Animal crossing text. Cost, let's make it 100 so I don't forget later on. Animal crossing style speech bubble. And of course, once again, you can add your own sound effects to it too. Put it in a group if you want to. We're just gonna click OK and click OK. And we should be done. Let's test it on here first. So I'm gonna go to my channel point rewards, click Animal Crossing. Oh, I forgot something. The input. I didn't specify for it to ask people to type an input. Right now I can just redeem. And yeah, it's gonna put user input. Oh, I guess the user input didn't work either. Question is, can I edit from here? No. So now we need to go to platforms and then find it. Animal Crossing text. Let's double click. And right there, user input required is what's important. Click OK. Let's try it again. So now it asks me to type something and press OK. Okay, my user input is not working. And this is where the documentation comes to save the day. We're gonna figure it out. Oh, okay, it's raw input. That's the right variable. See, even while I'm recording, this is saving me. So let's go back to action and the text. So OBS GDI text, AC bubble message is raw input and not user input. Shall we test it one more time? There it is. Just like that, and then probably disappear. Okay, cool. So of course, it just cuts when it disappears. You can also add a transition by right-clicking, hide transition, and then you pick the one you like. For the text, I can go with swipe. In this case, I'm going to leave it default. We can test it. Hide transition, swipe. Back colors, we want a fade on that, but we also needed to go back to its shrunken state with the filter. Remember? Yeah, we kind of totally forgot about that. By we, I mean I did. It's me. We've done this before, so no biggie. OBS scene filter state. We're gonna put it for when it's visible. Final position, make that visible, and we want to place it correctly. So at the same time that it's becoming visible. Boom. Now I can right-click, duplicate. And at the end, I want it to trigger the small position while it's basically hiding. Still visible too. So here's what we made. You're here, you're streaming, and someone goes to redeem a channel point reward. It says Animal Crossing text, and then they have to type a text. And they type something funny like, hi, I'm an ugly Animal Crossing citizen. And then they press enter. So you're blah, blah, blah. And then here, this pops up and it says, it says whatever the text is. Everything is formatted so that the name tag and also the text will stay in their bubble. They're never gonna like bleed out of their boundaries and stuff like that. And yeah, we did that in a couple minutes using Streamer.bot. Oh no, I almost forgot the wobbly effect that I told you about. So right click, again, you need the shader filter plugin for that. User defined shader, click OK. Load shader from text file, browse, heat wave. Is that what it is? Yeah, that works. That definitely works. Just play around with it. Whoa. Whoa. There you go. I like it like that. Copy those settings. And now we can test it for one last time. You're streaming, you're talking, hi guys, how you doing? Someone goes and redeems the Animal Crossing text. It asks them to type some text. They type something funny like, hi, I'm an ugly Animal Crossing citizen. They press enter and this pops up right there. It has the little wobble, everything, and even the animation. And then after that, it disappears. There you go. And that's it. You now know how to use the quoting system with Streamer.bot. You know how to turn your stream into a meme every time you say the word come. Very mature. And you also know how to have an Animal Crossing style pop-up for your viewers to send messages in. If you want to see them in action, go follow me on Twitch. But in the meantime, I'll see you later. Thank you so much for watching. Go out there, make me proud, get a level, out.